What's good, people? It's your boy Don Bucks, your host of RappinDough. And y'all know how I'm coming. Y'all know I like to bring forth finance and business perspective and commentary on a weekly basis. Once again, welcome back to the Financial Bars series. I'm going to talk about last week's action in the stock market, what's going on business-wise and whatnot. And first off, I want to start by, as y'all probably already know, it's a lot of volatility, a lot of ups and downs in the stock market right now. And reason being, a lot of investors are trying to gauge whether this new outbreak, the new second wave they was talking about, that they kind of predicted, this new second wave of COVID is going to affect the markets, because basically a lot of different states have been drawing back on their reopening of the economy. A lot of states are like rethinking their reopening. Like a lot of states are closing stuff back down. Like a lot of bars, a lot of gyms, a lot of things are shutting down. So what does that do to the economy? If people aren't going places, of course these businesses are not going to be making any money. So with that going on, basically, like I said, investors are being apprehensive. They're trying to gauge what's going on with all this reopening and shutting back down, what's going on with that. So it's a lot of confusion. There's a lot of ups and downs in the stock market. And I'm live on Instagram, live on Facebook. Feel free to go subscribe to the YouTube channel, RappinDough, also RappinDough on Instagram. Another thing I wanted to talk about, because airlines was talking about getting back to flying and whatnot, but now what they're doing is, like I said in the previous video, they're going to somehow, some way try to, I guess, make us turn on that tracking, that COVID tracking option on our phone. So airlines are requiring a health assessment basically in order to fly. So you got to fill out mad paperwork. You might have to get tested. Like, it's a whole lot of stuff that's going on with that. So that's what's going on with the airlines. Another thing, now being that I watch CNBC, I'm on top of everything. I'm watching the financial news. I'm watching it all. Like, I'm dug in. So what I'm noticing, and it's funny style, I'm noticing that all of a sudden, because y'all know it's a deficiency as far as financial literacy and how we haven't been included in these conversations, let alone knowing the lingo and knowing anything about finances for the most part. It's interesting how all of a sudden, when I'm watching these financial news channels, that all of a sudden you're seeing a lot more black analysts that they're interviewing and wanting their perspective on business and finance, like out of the blue, because we know that a lot of companies are showing their solidarity for the black movement right now. They offering scholarships, they donate money to different initiatives and whatnot. So it's a lot of companies trying to get in front of get on the right side of history right now with what's going on. So they're offering money, they're offering all these incentives for being black, and at the same time, I'm starting to see a lot of analysts now. All of a sudden, they want their perspective on business out of the blue. Like this, I've been watching CNBC for I don't know how long. I've never seen this many black faces, these black analysts that they're interviewing and wanting their perspective on. I find that to be funny style, and actually I find it to be kind of insulting. You know what I'm saying? I find it to be kind of weird, because now all of a sudden, like, what happened before? Like, before we was tearing shit up, before we was tearing stuff up, what happened before that? Y'all ain't want our perspective then? Like, these analysts have been around, but now all of a sudden y'all want our perspective and stuff like that. So I just find that to be type insulting. You know what I'm saying? Like now you want our perspective. Now you want to show solidarity to black people. But I found that to be interesting. I never see. It's kind of awkward. You know what I mean? Because it's like out of the blue. Like now y'all want to see us and hear about us, and it's crazy. Also, another thing that I've noticed during these interviews of these CEOs, because that's all they do on CNBC. They interview CEOs. They get business perspective from leaders in the financial industry. So when they interviewing these people, because everybody doing interviews from home, and they not in the building per se anymore. So they're interviewing these people from home via Zoom and whatnot. And in their background, right? I found this to be it's dope, but I always look at the stuff behind the scenes. In their background, 90% of the people they interview, in their background, they got a library. They all seem to have libraries of mad books in their background. Now, that's one thing that I'll also be talking about when in regards to financial literacy and wanting to level up. Like, we have to read. You know what I'm saying? And in our community, in our culture, being a reader and educating yourself hasn't always been the cool thing to do. Like, for some reason, being a nerd, because being a nerd has a negative connotation to it. So being a reader wasn't always looked at as the cool thing to do. But as I'm looking at these financial channels and watching these interviews, even the black people that they start to interview now, in their background, they got mad books. You know what I'm saying? They got mad books. So that's one thing that we have to start getting comfortable with. There's nothing wrong with being smart. Now, that's one thing that we have to start. We have to shift the narrative now. Like as we all know, if we are black and you're watching this, we're at war. So being educated, whether it's finance or anything in that regard, I believe that we need to start reading more. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's a good example of when they interviewing these CEOs. I think that's dope that they got that in the background. But I just peeped it. I was like, yo, they got a lot of books in their background, and that's pretty dope. But getting back on track, it's like I said, I find it to be an insult, actually, that these companies, even though, all right, I get it, and I appreciate the initiatives that they starting to do now. They starting to show solidarity. They want to, donate money to different organizations and whatnot. Like, that's dope, but it took for us to start tearing shit up. You know what I mean? To get people attention. You know what I mean? Like, we've been screaming out for help and for equality for 400 plus years, right? So now when we start tearing shit up, now all of a sudden people want to start listening. You know what I mean? And I just find that to be quite insulting. You know what I mean? But I just want to see how far this is going to go. But I'm also wondering, like, how is that money going to affect people at the lowest level? You know what I mean? Because you're giving money to these companies, black businesses, but I want to see how that trickles down to the lowest rung of us, the lowest level of us, and see how that pans out. But another initiative is going on. One of those initiatives is that a lot of companies are boycotting Facebook. And they boycotting Facebook because they're saying that it's a lot of hate speech and racial speech going on Facebook. So a lot of these large companies are saying, hey, we're not spending no money with Facebook as far as advertising for the whole month of July. So my thing is, I'm looking at the stock price of Facebook, and Facebook done got so big, right, that it's to the point where these companies need Facebook now, because at the same time they boycotting Facebook's stock price is at its all-time high, even though they got this boycott going on. So it's like they need Facebook, you know what I'm saying? So that's one of the things that you also want to look at when you're looking at a company, like how much are they needed in society. Because when you're starting a business, when you're investing in a business, you want to be looking at things or companies that are contributing to the world, or what are they making life easier. And as far as Facebook, they done connected the world, they done shrunk the world. You can talk to somebody in China like this. So that's one of the things that Facebook has over everybody. Like all the other platforms, there's nothing larger than Facebook right now. So that's another thing. Oh, so to end it off for the week, this is basically what's been talked about over the past week: the volatility in the market. And the reason being is because all the investors, like I said, are trying to gauge whether this new wave of COVID, how this is going to affect companies, because a lot of states are throttling back on the reopening. They re-shutting stuff down again, you feel me? So that's the reason for the volatility in the market right now. People are trying to gauge what's going to happen with these businesses. So if you're an investor, like I been hoping you are starting to become, this is when there's bad news and there's pullback, then you can find a better entry point to your investments, because the market is always going to go up and down. But what you want to do is you want to catch it when it comes down. And most people are scared and apprehensive when the stock price goes down. That's when you need to be optimistic, because when the stock price goes down and it's a dope company, let's say Facebook for example, that's not going anywhere, these companies need them, they boycotting for 1 month. So just take that into consideration. They're not boycotting forever, they boycotting for 1 month because they know they need Facebook, they got to come back. So when the bad news comes out on Facebook and the price does come back, pull back, stock price go down, that's what all that means basically. That will be a possible entry point to investing in Facebook. So, and that's going on across the board in the industry. So with that being said, that's the update from last week. That's the update, and actually expect more volatility. This is crazy. Expect more volatility this upcoming week because of these companies that are the investors that are apprehensive and gauging what these companies are going to be doing based off the new outbreak. Alright, so with that being said, see y'all next week. Keep investing and run the bag up. Oh, and if there's anything else y'all want me to touch on, y'all have any topics or any stocks y'all want to discuss, feel free to leave a comment in the video, and I'll see if I can touch on it next week. So this is Financial Bars, and I'll see y'all next week. Peace.